Hey guys, welcome to the Crochet Life of Sophie. I'm Sophie. In today's tutorial, we'll be making a chunky tote bag using t-shirt yarn. I do get asked a lot which t-shirt yarn brand do I use. So this is the brand name of the yarn. It's called t-shirt yarn. And it doesn't really have like a specific grams. So it's a range of 650 to 800 grams. And it recommends that you use an 8 to 10 millimeter crochet hook. It honestly depends, because from this brand or any other brands of t-shirt yarns, t-shirt yarn is very unpredictable. So this yarn specifically is quite sturdy and very wide. And I'd quickly like to show you guys the differences between these yarns. So this is also a t-shirt yarn, but it is very thin. But this one is very thick. This is obviously going to affect the crochet hook size that you'll be using. I'll be showing you guys what I'll be using in this tutorial. I'll be using t-shirt yarn, a 10 millimeter crochet hook, a tape measure, some scissors, stitch markers, as well as a tapestry needle for weaving in my ends. In order to get started, I'll start off by making a slip knot, and this is how I make my slip knot. Adjust the loop, insert my crochet hook. I'll begin to make a chain of 17. I've made a chain of 17. I'm going to skip the first chain and make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. I'm going to proceed to make single crochets in the chain across. Now I've made one row of single crochets. This will be the base of the bag. This is what we are currently working on. I'm going to chain one, turn my work, and make single crochets in each and every stitch until I get to the end. I have made a total of 2 rows of single crochets. I'm gonna add 3 more rows of single crochets so that I can have a total of 5 rows of single crochets, and this will be the base of the bag. I've already chained one. I'm gonna turn my work, make a single crochet in each and every stitch across. This will be our 3rd row. Now the 3rd row is complete. I'm going to make 2 more rows. I'm gonna chain one, turn my work, continue to make single crochets across. The 4th row is done. I'm going to work the last row of single crochets for the base of the bag. I've chained one, turn my work, and work single crochets in each and every stitch across. I'm about to work the last single crochet in the last stitch. What I'm gonna do is to make single crochets on the side stitches. They're a little bit bumpy, but I'll try to insert my crochet hook wherever it can fit. I'm gonna insert my crochet hook in this one as well. This needs to be stretched out a little bit. And this one. There isn't right or wrong way to do this. Just try to insert your crochet hook wherever it can fit. Now there's a long tail here. I'll be crocheting this as I go. You can choose to weave it in later on using your tapestry needle. And now that we are on the opposite side of the base of the bag, so I'm gonna be inserting my crochet. I'm gonna be working single crochets across, and this is how I do it. You could make a single crochet here, or you can decide to make it here. I'm holding on to the tail because I'll be crocheting it as I go. I'm gonna work single crochets in each and every stitch across. I'm about to work the last single crochet in the last stitch of the opposite side of the base. Now that's done. I'll be once again working on the side bumpy stitches. I'll try to work a single crochet wherever I can. I'll be working a single crochet here as well. And I'll be making a single crochet here as well. This is where we ended off working our base of the bag, and we made single crochets across until we get here. So what we're gonna do now is to work single crochets in the back loop around for a total of 1 row. I'm going to make the very first single crochets in the back loop here. It's gonna be a bit tricky. I've made the first single crochet back loop. What I'm going to do is place my stitch marker to remember this is where we started. I'm going to continue working single crochets in the back loop around until I get to the stitch marker. I've gotten to where the stitch marker is. I'm going to remove it. What I'm going to do now is to make a single crochet in both loops. Now I've made a single crochet. I'm going to place back the stitch marker. I'm going to be working in the round. I'll be making a single crochet in both loops in each and every stitch until I get to the stitch marker. You can choose to flip your project inside out or leave it as it is, which is what I'll be doing. I have gotten to where the stitch marker is. I'm going to remove it, work a single crochet. I have gotten a lot of questions regarding this point. I do not slip stitch, chain one, and then start the next row. Hence why I end up placing a stitch marker. So I make a single crochet, place a stitch marker, and then I continue to work single crochets. This will be the beginning of the new row or the end of a row. I'm going to continue to work single crochets until I get to the stitch marker. What I'm working on is the height of the bag. I'm gonna continue working in the rounds until I'm happy with the height of the bag. When I get to the stitch marker, I remove it, work a single crochet, and then place it back and begin a new row. I'm working with the stitch marker with that. Normally I would place back the stitch marker where it was, so what I'm gonna do different is to place it at the stitch before. Now I'm done working on the height of the bag. I've made a total of 10 rows. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I'm gonna lay the bag as flat as possible. This is just going to help determine where to start to work the bag handles. I'm gonna count where the stitch marker is. I've already made 2 single crochets, counting the one from the stitch marker. I'm gonna work 4 more single crochets so that I can have a total of 6 single crochets, counting from where the stitch marker is. It's exactly what we're gonna do on the other side. Insert a stitch marker in the middle stitch, and I'm also going to be working 6 single crochets. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Same applies with this side. I've already worked 2 single crochets, including the stitch with a stitch marker. I'm gonna work 4 more single crochets. I have 6 single crochets. 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm going to make a chain of 30. I've made a chain of 30. I'm going to attach with a single crochet. Remember, I'll be working 6 single crochets, counting from the stitch marker. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and this is where I'll be attaching. Remember to make your attaching single crochet as tight as possible. Now I've made the first single crochet. I'm going to continue crocheting until I get to the stitch marker. I'm getting to where the stitch marker is to work my 6th single crochet. I'm going to attach it back. If you'd like to take a shortcut, you can just compare both sides and then place a stitch marker here, and then maybe start working on your handle and do the same for this side as well. Since I've crocheted 6 single crochets here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, I'm gonna make 5 more single crochets here. This stitch with the stitch marker does count as a stitch. I'll be working 5 more single crochets before I can begin to work on the bag handle or the bag strap. I've worked 6 single crochets, including the stitch with the stitch marker. 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm going to make a chain of 30. I've made a chain of 30. I'm going to be attaching once again with a single crochet. I'll be counting from this stitch, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and attach here. And I'll work the remaining single crochets until I get to the stitch marker. Make a single crochet and then place back the stitch marker. Now I'm going to continue making single crochets. When I get to the chain, I'll be making slip stitches. I'm just going to work slip stitches. Now I'm gonna work single crochets until I get to the other chain. I'm gonna start making slip stitches in the chain. I'm gonna attach with a single crochet. So I'll continue working single crochets until I get to the stitch marker. I've gotten to the stitch marker. I'm going to remove it. Work the last single crochet. After working the last single crochet, I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 1. Leave enough tail to weave in. So I'll just be inserting my crochet hook wherever I can. You guys can just watch and see how I do it. Once again, I did use the t-shirt yarn, which was a range of 650 to 800 grams, and this is how much I am left with.